All right, so we're going to walk through Midjourney here and take a look. The goal here is very simple. We've got a new brand, it happens to be a brand of my agency, that I want to come up with a image style for. I'm a big believer in branding, that you want to come up with not only your colors and your logo and your slogan, but you also want to create imagery that has a particular style or emotion that it evokes. And so I'm going to really begin from scratch here and try to come up with some things. So I've done this earlier. I'm going to walk through what I've done to show you kind of how I've tried to walk through this with Midjourney and what we've come up with. So we started off with a photorealistic image. By the way, I went into Claude and used that to help me come up with an original prompt. I said, hey, I need this for Midjourney. Here's some things I'm looking for. And it came up with a photorealistic image of a confident age and gender entrepreneur in smart casual attire, standing in a modern bright office, subject looking directly at the camera with a warm, assured smile, floor-to-ceiling windows, cityscape backdrop, blah, blah, blah. I won't go through the whole thing. Lots and lots of detail. And it created these 4 images here. We'll go ahead and pop that up so you can see a little better. Not what I was looking for, not the look and feel. Maybe you like it. It wasn't what I wanted for this brand. So we then went in and we tried a couple other styles, just again, really trying to have Claude, in this case, I had write me a series of prompts that would achieve an objective. This is kind of cool, but again, not really something that I can see using on an ongoing basis, the colors that I liked. Then we came up with this one here, again, continuing to use Claude to help ideate, come up with ideas for different things. And again, not exactly what I was looking for. We had lots of, by the way, when you go through this, you get a lot of not exactly what I'm looking for. This had some aspects that I liked, but again, the colors were too purplish and that it wasn't where I wanted to go. Then we stumbled across this, and I felt like we started to get closer. And part of what, for me, worked here was it was more of a digital art illustrative style. And that's something that I think we can replicate easily with different colors. So I wanted to, as a different format, as these are actually going to be blog images that I'm looking for here. So I was doing social media images that I do in a 4:5 format. I'm going to change this to a 16:9 aspect ratio. By the way, if you're not familiar with that in Midjourney, it's just a -AR, and then you put a space and then your aspect ratio. So this is a 4:5, 4 across, 5 down. I'm going to move over to a 16:9 here in just a moment as I do that. Had a couple more no's that I went with. Here's another no, didn't like that style. Here's another one that I said, yeah, this has got some possibilities. Again, this is more in that digital art style. You'll notice here, I'll go back to my prompt. My prompt said nothing about digital art, but I in particular really like this look down here. I'm like, that resonated with me. Notice my style was actually, I said in the style of Peter McKinnon, with an overhead view of a bustling digital marketing team, pulsating glow in brand colors. By the way, I gave it the hex colors of my brand. This is important. Contemporary architectural, bright, natural light. By the way, it didn't necessarily bring all those colors in here, but we'll deal with that here in a moment. But I'm now narrowing it down because I like the digital art style. I went ahead and actually blew this image up. You can see a slightly larger version here. And as I look at this, to me, as I'm looking at branding and trying to create a style of image that I can use, first of all, it's definitely bringing some of my brand colors into the floor. There's too much orange in this. I like orange, but that's not one of my brand colors. So we're definitely going to make some changes there. But I like this digital art kind of illustration style. And so I'm going to continue following that because this is something that I could create and recreate on an ongoing basis. I did the same blow up for a couple more images here just so you can get some perspective. Here's one of the others. Again, digital art kind of illustration if you look into it. I know it's a little hard to see because these are very small, but you'll have to trust me on that. Again, I'm getting closer. I'm liking where I'm going with this. So I had it recreate some of those. I literally took that first image that I liked, this one here, and I went a very strong, not very as in majorly strong, but very as in make it changes and strong changes. And when I did that, it then uses that same image and created 4 variations on this. Now I really like these. Again, a little more orange than what I want, but this is definitely something that I like. And so I actually took the time to blow some of these up so you can take a full look. You can see here, it's a little easier to see some of the digital art illustration type style. Whether you like it or not, I'd welcome your opinion, but this is something something that I can recreate on an ongoing basis as I'm doing content marketing. I want to be able to have an image style that I can recreate that can be identified with this new brand. And this new brand, by the way, for those of you who are wondering, is Intelligent Marketing Content. If you go to intelligentmarketingcontent.ai, you can see the logo in that. Obviously, I've got to bring some of my brand colors in a little better. It's not doing that even though I've got it in here. Here's another example. You can see I'm starting to get some consistency, though, in the look and feel of the image. I definitely have some work to do on colors, but I'm starting to get some consistency here in the look and feel, and that's what I'm looking for here. Now, this is an overhead view. I won't want to use this all the time, but I've kind of got to step one. And whenever I'm doing prompting, I want to get to that point that I can get a consistency out of it and then start refining from there. So I did that. Now, I tried a couple of other ones that got it. This was a little bit different. I didn't really care for these looks as much. They just didn't resonate with me. So now I moved into that 16:9 format that I told you I was going to do. And you can see here, now we've got an image that's 16 wide and 9 tall, kind of like your average computer monitor. These are going to start working really good for blog posts and articles that I'm writing and things like that. And again, you can see there's a lot of consistency coming through from where I started earlier. I did a couple other variations just to see where it came up at. Total failure here, total wrong direction, but that's okay. When you create images, you're going to have that happen. So I went ahead and I blew up some of these. You can take a look. I like this style. This is something that, again, I've said, but I can definitely create. Are there some weirdities going on? Yeah, it looks like we got a guy floating in midair here, but you know, I'm not that worried about this. This is very clearly, as I look at it, an artistic style, kind of a modern office. I like the direction we're going. Same thing with these images here. Again, a bit too much orange. We're going to address that in the future. But again, right now I'm working on, can I create images that are essentially the same style that are replicating over and over? And I'm seeing that I'm able to do that. Tried a couple others here. Nope, total abject failure. Not at all what I wanted. That's all right. I was trying some different things. Then I liked this one style so well, I said, I want to create 10 remixes of that. And so what I literally did is I took that prompt from this 4 images up here, right here. I went to redo this and I added --R space 10. That means that I wanted to repeat that command 10 times. That means with Midjourney, I'm going to create 40 images. The next thing I did is I took those 4 original images that I've told you I liked, and I used the describe command in Midjourney to tell me how would it recreate these. If you're not familiar with these, you can upload images to Midjourney. You can then ask it to describe that image, and it's going to give you what it believes would be 4 different prompts that you could put in to achieve similar status. When I do that, you can then click on Imagine All, and you can see those, and I did that here. There's a second image I did this for. I did that for all 4, by the way, and describe. And you can start seeing as it's creating these, I won't blow up all of these, but it's creating very similar images that are, again, are consistent with what we were talking about. I've been using and clicking a lot here, so I'm going to get a couple errors. I've overdone my allotment, but that'll come back here in a couple minutes. But you can see I'm starting to create some consistency. And so these sample images that it's creating now based upon the describe, I'm getting some very consistent imagery, and I like that. That's good. One thing I've noticed as I go through is that it's interesting to me that I'm not mentioning digital art or illustrations in any of these, but for some reason Midjourney's picking up on that. So as I start refining my prompt, because I want to be able to give a prompt to my team that we can recreate these, I'll continue to do that, and I'll continue to get that in there. Again, lots more images that are popping up. I'm expanding them here just because I kind of like these, and some of these we'll be able to go through and utilize as we're creating content. You can see we've got a lot of images that we work through. And again, what I'm looking for here is overall consistency. Is there some consistency in the style of images? Notice I'm not talking character consistency here, but just consistency overall in the style of image. And I'm definitely getting that consistency. You can see I did 10 of those, so I had 40 different images that came up. This one they threw in a ton of orange, more than I like. So I'm not going to stick with that one, but obviously we're getting a lot of orange in. We can deal with that as we go down, and I'll show you in a minute how we're going to do that. So here's one that I really liked. So this one I actually got in, and I really like some of these colors. I especially like this lower right-hand one. I think that's really cool, kind of modern office. Again, this brand, just so you know, is creating AI-assisted content for businesses. So if you need marketing content, whether that be blog posts, social media, web pages, email campaigns, you name it, any marketing content, this new brand is designed to create that for you using our AI-assisted processes and technologies. And you can see as I keep going down here, we're getting consistent images again now, not as much orange, but I'm still getting that illustrative style, a little heavy on the plants here. But again, what I'm trying to do very quickly as I go through the describe section is get a look and feel that I can replicate. And I think we're getting closer to that. So still lots and lots of images. What I did though is I then went over to Claude. Up here, when I did the describe image, you can see it because I've been able to validate now, by the way, I like these images. These are consistent. I copy and pasted all of this text for all 4 images into Claude. Let's see if I can actually show that window here or not. It may or may not come up for us. There we go. I'll resize it just a little bit. So now we're in Claude. And my original prompt's right here. Move my face out of the way. So I uploaded the 4 images. You may remember those are those 4 images that I asked it. And then I said, here, there's my prompt for Claude. So I'm using Claude now to help me analyze this data and come up with a prompt that I think I can use on an ongoing basis, because I want to create an image prompt that I can get repeatable processes or repeatable images out of, consistent images. So I talked to it like I would anybody else. I said, I've got 4 photos here. I've uploaded, there they are. I want to identify the style of these photos so I can have Midjourney create more of this style. These photos are all overhead shots, and I want other angles as well because I don't want to just have overhead. Following are the ways Midjourney has described these images. Please review and help me determine what the best prompt would be to get my desired result in Midjourney. Now, a couple of you have asked about delimiters. Here's an area where I use delimiters. I just use square brackets. When I copy and pasted in from Midjourney, I had a whole mess of text that just came in that wasn't well formatted. And so I used not only carriage returns in here, but these square brackets at the beginning and the end. That's called a delimiter. I used that to help or in this case, Claude, understand that this content goes together. And you can see it just helps with organizational aspects. So you can see a lot in here. There's 16 different prompts I got, 4 images. Midjourney gave us 4 descriptions for each. I pasted all 16 of those in there. And then I ended it with, please ask me any clarifying questions. Claude came back and, of course, was being polite and said thank you, and said to help create an effective prompt for Midjourney that captures the style of these images while allowing for other angles. He said, I'll summarize the key elements. First, let me ask you a few things. 1, are you looking to maintain the digital art illustration style? Boom. That's the phrase I needed. I wasn't thinking of that. That's not anything I've used at all through this, but by having Claude analyze this, it immediately identified the consistency and said, this is a digital art illustration style. That's huge, folks, because this is something I need to tell Midjourney to recreate this. So this is going into our next test. I told it I wanted that. I like that. Do you want to keep the predominantly orange color scheme, or are you open to other palettes? And I then gave it my specific color schemes with the hex colors from my brand right down here. Then said, are there any architectural elements that you want or office features? And I said, no, I didn't. So based upon that, it went ahead and gave me this prompt right here. Modern open office space, color scheme, vivid blue, deep blue, bright green. Those again are right from my brand colors. Natural lighting streaming through large windows, bustling with diverse employees, working at desks and collaborating, lush plants, stylish furniture, abstract art on walls, style of high resolution, digital concept art, dynamic perspective, clean lines, vibrant shadows. Wow, I need to take a breath. That's a long one. And then it talks about what it tried to do here by maintaining, incorporating the color scheme, keeping key elements, and I can adjust different things here with different angles. So I did that, and I went ahead and I went back over to Midjourney here, move myself off to the side, and let's find out where I put that in. So I've got to, get out of there. There we go. It's down here a bit because I was creating a lot of stuff. It's still beyond where we're at. So you may go, Jonathan, why did you create all these images? I want to be able to look at them and find out what works and what doesn't. So here's an example. This is the first image that I got out of Midjourney. You can see this is not exactly as consistent as I was hoping for. The one down here in the corner is close, but it's still not quite that same style. This isn't at all. That looks more like a photo. Definitely not what I wanted. These may be, but they're still not in that same style. So then I went ahead and I expanded on it. I looked at this image. This was the closest one. Tried to look at it in more detail. And again, there's definitely some illustration and digital art styles, but this is still, especially in the background, too photorealistic for what I wanted. So again, another example that came up with, I went and expanded these to take a look. This was actually a little better, not quite as photorealistic, but it's got trees and stuff I didn't really care for in the office. I continued to do that and check on each one of those. Then, let's see, where did we go? I've got to remember where we did. I think I did a new prompt. Oh, these were earlier ones. Sorry, these were catching up because I was moving faster than Midjourney was, so I've got to move past some of these images that were created earlier. Scrolling down, there we go. And then I said, all right, let's try again. So digital art illustration style, modern office space, color scheme, natural lighting streaming through windows, bustling with diverse employees, working at desks. And this was not bad, although a little more plant-y, so to speak. In other words, more plants than I wanted. You can see lots and lots of plants. So again, continued refinement here. We're getting a little closer to my style. We've moved a little away from it, but I feel like we're on the right track. So let's continue on down. I get a couple error messages. Here's one that came pretty close in some ways, still very photorealistic in other aspects, but we've got some digital art illustrative concepts, so we're kind of getting in there. Again, sometimes it's closer. You figure out what you want. And then I stumbled across this, and I said, now that feels more digital art, more what I want to say, more related. I went and looked, and this happened to be one that brought in Pixar animation and stuff like that. So this was from way earlier. So that's something that tells me I could add Pixar in if I want to as well. We continue scrolling down through. Again, lots of images. This process took me about 30 to 40 minutes as I was scrolling through. Some of them are still processing, as you can see. Here's that one that I really did like. I thought this was pretty cool, good colors. Lots of oranges, though, as you can see coming in. And so I kept going on down, and we're going to address that orange in a minute here. Way orange as we get through some of these, but we'll get rid of it. We're going to actually use a negative prompt, by the way, to get rid of the orange, because I'm seeing I've got some consistency, but too many oranges coming through. And where did I start with it? No orange. Not there yet. This has got some less, more blues, as you can see, but again, definitely more that digital art illustration style. This is something that I was going for. So you're seeing I'm getting some yeses and minuses, and here I added in, nope, that's just trees galore. Somewhere we added in no oranges. Again, creating lots and lots of images. Here we go. So we're finally getting caught up to where I decided to press record. So now, again, digital art, and I put in here no orange. I wanted to use more of my brand colors. And I feel like we're getting close here, folks. I really like these two on the side. Yes, they've got a little orange. They're a little more colorful. I like those, but these aren't bad either. And I think as you look at these, hopefully you'll agree with me, this is a style that I can replicate. So I'm just going to go ahead and upsize both of these because I like those and I may want to do something with those. We had another example of that. Again, digital art illustration using just slightly different styles. Let's take a look here. Again, I like where we're going with these. I think these are all have possibilities. I like this one the least. Seems to be a little bit crisper. I like some of the other formats here. So I'm going to go ahead and do 1, 3, and 4 in this case to expand on those because I can do different things. Now we've gotten back to one with a lot of orange. Again, notice as I'm prompting, because I'm working faster than Midjourney is right now, that sometimes I'm going to get images that I did way earlier showing up here a little bit later, and that's what's happened here. Not a problem, though. It still all gives me that validation that I'm looking for. And I'm looking down here to make sure I get to the no orange section. And let's see here. We're still not there. Again, orange isn't a bad color. I actually like the way it looks. It just doesn't happen to be one of my brand colors, and I thought we were getting too much. There we go. So here's the first one that I got here, like this. Blown up. I like this. It's colorful. It's definitely digital art. It's reminiscent of photos, but you can see it's not. And so, we're not so worried that this lady's face is messed up back here because we know it's digital art. This guy's face is messed up. This guy's is too. It's all okay because it's digital art. It's illustration, so we have a little more flexibility. But I kind of like it. What I'm now going to do, if I want to do this, I'm going to go in here and say very strong. So I'm going to create 4 versions of this that are varied. And I'm going to put digital art, illustration, Pixar, actually, let's do this, style, Pixar inspired digital marketing team, and I've got my color scheme, natural light, bustling, diverse employees, working at desk, collaborating, plants, stylish. By the way, I got rid of lush plants, which I had been using earlier because I thought I had too many plants. I don't mind a few, had too many. Stylish furniture, abstract art on walls, and the style of a high-resolution digital concept art. I like this. I'm going to take out the clean lines part. Actually, I'll leave it in for now. We will check that later. By the way, when I make changes, I only make one change at a time generally because I want to find out, is that making a significant change on what I'm getting? This all helps me refine where I'm coming. Again, this happens to be the more bluish one. I don't like this as well, but it's not bad. It's definitely something, it's again getting consistent. Hopefully as you look at this, you're starting to see some consistency in the overall design. Notice how here in the back, again, we don't have a photorealistic outdoor scene, which I like better. So again, that's not bad either. I'm going to go ahead and vary this one strong as well and do the same thing. We've got digital art illustration, Pixar inspired. We'll get rid of that style here. That should actually go over here. So I'm only changing one thing again. Just adding that Pixar inspired in there. We'll try that out for 4 versions. Another one, I really like this one. This is just that same type style. I like that. We're going to do the same thing. You go, Jonathan, why are we doing this? Well, I want to be able to try these different styles and see what is this doing to our imagery. Are we able to create that consistency? I know a lot of you have talked about consistent characters. In this case, I'm less concerned about consistent characters. I'm much more concerned about consistent styles. This one I'm not going to do. They put trees inside the office. I don't think we're going to have trees inside the office like that. A little too heavy on the plant, so we'll skip that one for now. Actually, you know what? Let's do this one. No, yeah, we'll do that one. And instead of adding Pixar style, I'm just going to get rid of plants. Boom. And we'll see what happens on that one. Now, because it always shows you what's happening as it's rebuilding here, I'll always know what my prompt is. And let's see. So here's our first one. I'm liking this, folks. I'm really liking this. We're getting in some of my brand colors, which are the blues and the green. Still got a little orange, but it's not bad. It's not as predominantly orange as it was. I'm liking these. These are things that I can definitely use. So I'm going to go ahead and blow each of these up. That way I can go over them with my team tomorrow and let them know what I think of this. Super cool. Let's see, we've got some other ones that are rendering here. Notice how I talked to you earlier, how about it? Sometimes I'm working ahead of Midjourney. That's what you're seeing right here. Midjourney is getting caught up to what I'm doing, even though we're moving on. Again, I like these. These are good. So I'm going to go ahead and blow up each one of these. So let's take a look at our prompt. This is where I've added in the Pixar inspired. So we had what I liked. I just added in Pixar inspired. That's 2 in a row that I like the results I'm getting out of this. So I think we're getting closer and closer to where I want to be. That's just I like that. I think, again, from a brand image style, this is going the direction I want. You guys may or may not. That's fine. This is just the style I'm going at. All right, so this is another one. Did we do? So this one we did not do Pixar inspired. If you remember the last one, we just pulled plants out of. So let's take a look at this one and see what this did. Whoa, we did a major jump here. Let's go way to the bottom. We've got, there we go. Let's just take a look at these. Is that the one without plants? I got to remember. Nope, that was plants. I'm not down far enough. Sorry, guys. We have to go way to the bottom here. Let's see if it remembers where we're at. There we go. Go back up to the last 4. There we go, right here. So this is the one. Yes, no plants. Oh, no, that's Pixar inspired too. That's okay. Here's the one with no plants. So this was not Pixar inspired, but we did put no plants. Now it still threw some plants in there, but again, I like this. I could actually go with or without the Pixar. I might lean to go away from it because the Pixar seems to add a little more refinement that I don't know that I like. But let's go ahead and take a look at those. We've got this one here. This is Pixar inspired. Candidly, there's not a lot of difference in there, but I don't think Pixar is adding really any substantial value to what we're doing. Obviously, it's jumping around like it's on jumping beans here. Let's see if we can get caught back up. I am really overloading Midjourney, so I'm popping out images super fast here, and Midjourney is basically just telling me it's not happy with that. That's all right. We're not so worried about Midjourney being happy. After all, it's only AI. it doesn't have feelings yet. Catch that? Okay, so let's take a look. I like this. We're getting here again a little too much on the plants for me, but that can be dealt with. So now I'm getting something that I like. These are pretty consistent. I like the look and feel. I think I'm going to drop plants out entirely. I think one of the reasons it's happening is I've found, by the way, when you go to very strong, sometimes even if you remove aspects of the prompt, it carries them over, like plants in this case. So what I want to do here is I'm going to copy this prompt, but I'm going to copy the text. Not going to redo the prompt. We're going to start down with a fresh new command. Imagine, and I'm going to paste this in. So digital art, illustration, Pixar-inspired digital marketing team, color scheme, natural light through large windows, bustling with diverse employees, working at desks, collaborating. I'm going to get rid of a bunch of this. So I like the windows. Let's get rid of the bustling desks, crabbing furniture. We'll get rid of the plants. I'm trying to get a little bit more of a close-up here. So let's actually do this. Instead of a team, let's do happy digital marketer. It could be an entrepreneur, business person, wouldn't really matter a whole lot. Digital art, dynamic perspective, clean lines, vibrant shadows. I think we're doing pretty good here. We're still talking about the background a little bit, so it may give us more of a zoom out, but let's take a look and see what we get here as we create this. So you may be going, wow, Jonathan, you're just spending a tremendous amount of time here just trying to figure out an image style. And yeah, I am. Because guess what? This will ultimately become part of the brand recognition. And just like when you see a Nike swoosh logo, you don't have to see the word Nike. You know it's a Nike swoosh. In that same way, although I'm not trying to be Nike, I want to create a style of image, colors and style that people see, and that over time they start going, wow, that's intelligent marketing content. And that's what we're really focused on here. So let's see, we'll wait just a few minutes here for this. I'm going to pause while this happens so we can see where we're at, and I'll be back with you as soon as it's done. All right, we're done. Let's see what we got here in these images. Let's take a look. I don't mind this. I don't mind it at all, but I don't see any of the people. So now I definitely have to go back and say, okay, where are my people and why am I getting such a wide angle? My guess is it's because of some of these other commands that I have in here. So let's go back and we'll try a couple more prompts before we wrap this video up as we try to narrow things down. So let's go back into Imagine, digital art illustration, Pixar inspired. I'm going to drop it because I don't think that matters. So happy digital marketer. Tell you what, we're going to move the digital art illustration style to the end. See if that makes any difference for us. Actually, no, it's changing too much. Color schemes, natural light streaming through windows, stylish furniture, abstract one, in the style of high resolution. So we're going to get rid of all that background information. My thought here is, in my experience with Midjourney, by putting that descriptive text in here for what the background's supposed to be, it's going to zoom that photo out so that it shows the background. I don't really want that. I want it to focus on happy digital marketer. I'm actually going to just change this to entrepreneur in this case, so it doesn't have to try to figure out what a digital marketer is. We've still got the shadows in there. I think that'll be okay. Let's try that out and see what happens in a minute. Again, I'll pause and I'll be back as soon as it's done rendering. All right, so we've got some new images, definitely more in the lines of what I wanted. I may now take the orange back out, but again, I'm getting that digital art look, the abstract. I'm liking the design and where we're headed. I think I've got this really close. So I'm going to wrap this up. You guys watch my page and everything else. I'll announce it when I get there, but this is how I go about figuring out how to create a brand style of imagery that we're going to create, in this case using Midjourney, my favorite AI tool at the moment for images, so that I can give this to my team and they can then start creating a consistent style and look of images while having different characters. Now, inside of this, I don't know that they all are equally as good. I happen to like number 2 and number 3 the best. That's upper right, lower left. But it gives me that capability. And again, if we take the no orange out, we'll probably get a little bit of orange back in. But these are absolutely my brand colors. I'm getting closer to what I want. I'll probably throw this like in an office next time. In fact, I'll do that right now. We'll see what comes up. Happy entrepreneur, modern office in background. color scheme. We'll do one more just because I feel like I really am getting close. Let's see what we get here. All right, guys, we're done, and I am loving where we're getting to here. I just added a modern office in the background. I've got this digital art style. This has got me going. I love this. This is where I wanted to get. So I think we're getting super, super close. Thank you guys for sticking with me as I walk through this. I'd welcome your comments. I'd love to know, what things do you think I missed or that I should be doing, or did I try anything else you want some more on? I'm now getting really close to something that I can give to my team. They can then start filling in variables where I put entrepreneur with modern office in background, and we could do all kinds of different stuff and make this work. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day, and see you on the other side.